Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is June 23rd. I'm running about a day late on this video. So, welcome to Soulprint. Thank you so much for being here. I just have a couple of sort of housekeeping things that I want to take care of. And then we're going to get on with the readings. I'm going to look at voting rights today because Mitch McConnell and the Republicans were up to their usual shenanigans. So I want to take a look and see what's going to unfold and how that's going to look like going forward. Before I get there, a couple things. For those of you who watched my mini home tour video, thank you so much. And thank you for all of the lovely compliments. The geese are a blast, I have to tell you. We really, really enjoy watching them. And so there's that one family that I videoed. I swear they must have 16 little kids running around. I don't know how that happened because the other goose families have like 5 or 6 babies. And in fact, one pair of geese just had their baby. So we have these sort of babies that are, many weeks old and really getting quite big. And then there's these little tiny 5 little fuzzy chicks running around. It's very cute. I don't know about that big family. I mean, Catholic? I don't know. Don't send me letters or comments. I'm Catholic. Well, I was raised that way. Okay, so that's that. Speaking of animals, for those of you who have asked, Jerry is fine. He's doing really well. He lives with my daughter now, who is his actual people, along with Atticus. My daughter has been very, very busy finishing her second degree with honors, with distinction. Just bragging a bit. But she went straight into work, and so she just hasn't been around. And so as soon as we can, she's going to be wrapping up because she went straight into teaching for that last 6-week block. So once school ends at the end of June, she's going to be a bit more available, and I'm going to get the pet parade happening. And I keep asking her to just do me like a couple-minute video of Jerry just being Jerry, so I can tack it on to one of the end of my videos. We'll see if she gets that done. Yesterday, she was up to her eyeballs in report cards. For those of you who has so generously sent donations and housewarming gifts, oh my God, thank you so much. I cannot, it surprises me, it startles me, it humbles me. Thank you. Just from my heart to yours, I thank you. For those of you who are interested, I am currently booking private readings from mid-July on. So if that's something that interests you, in the description box below is a email address. You can just send me out a quick little email and I will send you back the information that you need. This is the last thing I want to share with you. So I received from one of my subscribers this book in the mail called On the Wings of a Pig. Okay, it is written by Claudia Noel and illustrated by Nadia Brown. This is available, I believe, through Amazon, I think. It's the cutest little book. So for those of you who have little ones running around in your family, a lot of you are grandparents now. Some of my younger viewers, might actually have small children. This thing is amazing. It's a great little book. It is a story about Juliet the pig who meets a bumblebee who explains to Juliet that if you can believe, you can achieve, basically. Oh, that's a good little line. I'm going to have to remember that one. It's the illustrations are gorgeous. Okay. It's just the greatest little book. And for those of you who are in Quebec, or maybe somewhere else in the world, it actually comes in a French version. Now, my daughter, the teacher who actually minored in French, hasn't had a chance to look at it yet, but So I'm not sure if the French is like French or if it's Canadian French, because there is sort of a bit of a difference. But anyways, for any of you who have young ones, it is a great, great story. And those books, by the way, are going straight into my daughter's classroom next year. So it's all very exciting. Okay, so question. As I said, I have a question. I sure do. What the heck is going on with voting rights? Now, as I was prepping to do this reading, I sort of heard the word Supreme Court. And so I've got my pendulum I brought up because I just wanted to double check if what I actually heard was correct. So pendulum, can we chat? Okay, so yeah, pendulum's going to chat. All right. So question is, the Republicans are doing everything that they can to stall any sort of voting rights reforms, but worse, in red states, they are doing absolutely everything they can to really, really make it incredibly hard for people to vote. Or people, perhaps I should say, that they don't want to vote because maybe they're not Republican. So my question is this going to evolve to a place where it's actually going to be the Supreme Court that sort of rules things back and creates a bit more of a level playing field? Okay, all right, so let's hope that my pendulum is right, and let's take a look at the cards and see if I can get a little bit more insight or guidance, and see whatever information we can get about the players involved. It's a pathetic thing that yesterday they voted down to not even have a discussion about it. The vote they took yesterday was simply to allow a debate. And the Republicans blocked it because that's what Mitch McConnell wants to do. And already, I think it's time for Biden and the Democrats to figure out how to get on with getting on and stop trying to placate these guys, because they're not going to play, not fairly. You know, they really are it's my ball and you're not playing the way I want, so I'm going to go home with my ball. That's really their attitudes. Okay, so let's take a look at United States voting rights. Here we go. Come on down. Alrighty. So, U.S. voting rights, U.S. voting rights, U.S. voting rights. Okay. So, oh, wait a minute, before I forget, for any of you who watched Rachel Maddow yesterday on Tuesday, the first segment that she did in her show was talking about a gentleman who is putting out a video or a little movie. I think the release is today. Anyways, about the Arizona count, okay? And it's obviously going to be skewed in a way that reflects what they want it to reflect. But this gentleman has also put out 2 previous movies. One about, I think it came out several years ago, and it was about an alien-like invasion of theirs. Now listen, I don't think we're the only people in the galaxy, okay? I really don't. But this gentleman is so far-fetched. He actually was blaming the assassination of JFK and 9/11 on aliens. He's going to be putting out a documentary on everything that's going on in Arizona, so in terms of that recount. So, you know, the crazies have come right out of the woodwork, and they're like flat advertising, okay? And that one that's coming out today, I saw Michael Flynn's name on the, I guess, sort of advertising blip or the post or whatever you call it. All right, come on down. I just had to share that with you. Okay, so, this is it, right? You have two fractions, two sides to the story, if you will. And there's this constant sort of turbulence because they have very, very different ideas. One group feels that you should be able to steal votes. You should be able to gerrymander. You should be able to write off votes. You should be able to change votes. You should be able to deny votes. And that is what they believe. You have another group who believes that what it takes to win is hard work and dedication and getting people out there and voting and being involved and, working like a democracy. And never before has the division been so in your face, frankly. Never has it been so illuminated. Never has it been so blatant. And so, in many ways, the United States, just karmically, is in a position and in a place where they really do have to take a hard look at some of, frankly, the foundations or the ideas or the attitudes that were established sort of from the beginning of the country, the time of the country's birth and beyond. So that's kind of what's going on. And the reality is in truth, it's breaking the hearts of everyday Americans. It really, really is. I mean, you have something like 75% of people who are completely in favor of these voting rights being, balanced out and made fair and bringing justice and fairness to them. But what you do have is Republicans who have become so greedy for power because they lost the last election, and frankly the one before, right? Because that last midterm, they really got, a bit of a shellacking. So, although, not quite enough to take over the Senate, but so, and now they have the Senate, but it's with such a tiny majority that, they're getting stopped every time they turn around. Then, of course, you have the states, the individual states, who are doing everything they're doing to really, really clamp down on voting. And so the people of the country are profoundly sad and profoundly disappointed by what they actually see going on. But the politicians, are still playing their games. They're still trying to get whatever they can get by frankly stealing it, by being a bully, by taking what is really not theirs or hanging on to what is theirs, and not allowing it to evolve and grow so that it is an accurate representation of the will of the people. But here sits justice, right? So here's justice coming along and saying, you know what, this is not just, this is not part of the Constitution. And moreover, it is not what the United States represents or stands for. As with the other parts of the world, there is this energetic shift going on for more balance and more inclusiveness. And so you have a situation where you have forces that frankly are greedy. They're greedy for power, they're greedy to stay in power, and they don't care who they trample over to do that. And whether you're talking about an autocracy or any of the other, sorry, my mind's blanking, the other sort of, I am a ruler of the country, everybody does and says what I want. But that's not what a democracy is. And so you really do have this sense of the civilians of the world are really rising up and saying, this is just so not acceptable to us anymore. So in the United States, you're seeing that reflected as you're seeing it reflected in other parts of the world. I mean, that's part of the reason that Putin's being Putin, right? Because more and more there is more pushback against, the way he wants to run the country versus what the people want. So you can anticipate some interesting news coming out, or some new ideas, or a new way of approaching things or looking at things. Listen, this is the thing. Just because that vote didn't go through yesterday, I'm really getting a very strong impression that this is going to continue to evolve. It's not like they failed with that vote, and so it's like, okay, well, I guess we just put that away and we'll just move on to the next thing. This is going to be front and center in the months to come, and frankly, in the years to come. And the situation is that even if we, the people, are not privy to everything that's going on, don't for one second think that it is not being, looked at, evolves, that there isn't developments going on, because there absolutely is. So you've got new conversations about it, new communications, new thoughts, new approaches. And that is all, important. And that's a good thing. That's a really good sign when you have, sort of the Emperor and Justice and the Ace of Wands and the Sun kind of coming together, right? The Sun is illuminating what is not working. And you've got Justice and the Ace of Wands working together to, balance the scales, as it were. So this is a good thing. Yeah, they're just greedy. They're just going to hang on. They're going to fight to hang on all they can. They don't want the judgment, but you know what? They are going to be judged really, really harshly. Oh my goodness, look at this. So this is the Republicans, right? This is what's coming for them. They've got, the Five of Cups and the Five of Swords. They've got the Four of Pentacles. They've got the High Arcana Justice card. So again, it's talking about the fact that ultimately they are going to lose this battle. But it is a matter of ensuring that the soldiers, and in this case, many of the soldiers are you, people of the United States, who need to get just as hepped up and just as excited and just as determined about this midterm coming up in 2022 as you were about the 2020 election. It's just that simple. It's just that important. And of course, you guys are all doing, what you can now, contacting your representatives, your senators, whatever it is, and ensuring that they know and understand that, what's going on right now is not acceptable. But yeah, they're just really, really, this is the thing about the Republicans now. They cannot be shamed, right? I used to say that about Trump all the time, right? It was like, he can't be shamed. It doesn't matter. He just cannot be shamed. And the Republicans, unfortunately, have taken a page out of that playbook, and they have gotten so blatant and so in your face about their behaviors that it's almost impossible to shame them into appropriate behavior, because Donald Trump continues to kind of rule that party. And as long as he does, you're kind of going to see and this is the thing, right? You've got the king of Mar-a-Lago there, trying to convince the entire world that it was a corrupt election and he really won and something was wrong with the way the votes were counted, etc. And that fit hand in glove with the Republicans' idea of, let's get all those people who don't vote for us, let's make sure they can't vote for us. Let's make sure we gerrymander the crap out of every single state we can, because that works in our favor. So, the two were like a match made in heaven, right? And so what you have now is these two sides who are working like in harmony with each other. And, the problem is going to be that, I can see sort of a bit of a confrontation coming down the road between McConnell and, the king. But it's going to be interesting kind of to see There's the King of Pentacles, of course. It's going to be interesting to see who ends up winning that battle. So, listen, you guys are in for a tense summer. Okay, this is, I'm sorry, the reality. When August rolls around and the sort of, because I think that they're anticipating the results of the Arizona election to come out, I think July or early August. And when Donald Trump does not ascend to the throne, oh, excuse me, I meant the White House, there's going to be problems. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be rioting and people aren't going to try, to bash into the state capitol. They could. But there's going to be a lot of, agitation over the course of the summer. And so again, that is when you take, your energy and you don't allow yourself to focus on that. You allow yourself to focus on strengthening what is there, supporting those who deserve, I guess, to be supported. But you find your strength from doing everything you can to ensure that this sort of really, really, it's just undemocratic. It's just traitorous behavior gets sort of stopped to the best of your, ability. Everybody has a part to play. Ultimately, though, you're being sort of reassured that when it comes right down to it, the Constitution will stand. Now, there's a lot of states who are going to somehow have to get all the way up to the Supreme Court, and I don't know what that looks like, and I don't know sort of how that's going to evolve and move forward. But the coming election, this is the thing about the coming election as of right now, energetically, is that it feels as if it's going to be a bit closer than we would like in some areas. So really the midterm, it looks again at the House and the Senate. So you know what, I pulled my pendulum back out and let's just see if we can get some answers here. So are the Democrats going to hold the House after the 2022 election? Okay, yes. But if you'll notice, that is not a really enthusiastic yes. Okay. Are the Democrats going to be able to hold the House sufficiently so that they can move things through? Yes. Okay. The Senate. Are the Democrats going to hold the United States Senate as a result of the 2022 elections? And it's a very conservative yes. Okay. Are they going to be able to increase their numbers? Yeah. And as part of the reason they're going to be increasing their numbers, whether it is through circumstances, through advertising, through awareness, the reality, people are going to be tuning into the reality that the Republicans are not trying to govern, they're simply trying to stall, and people are going to start to understand the Senate needs to be stronger. Yes. Okay, but look at, these are not, I mean, you guys who know this pendulum knows it gets very enthusiastic answers. These are very reserved answers. So I think, part of what that's telling us is that it's early days. There's a lot of work to be done. And energetically, it's a yes, but the momentum to make manifest what you want is needing to start building up momentum and steam. Okay. So as of now, you have the strength of Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi, who are working very hard to keep this ship sort of floating. But there is very much an awareness that things have got to get moved through. And the problem is if anybody's, if the Democrats, okay, so in the House, they're able to just push stuff through. But in the Senate, everything ends up getting scrambled up by that darn filibuster. So let's just hold on here and let's just ask that question too. So are the Democrats going to be able to break the filibuster? Is there somehow or some way that they're actually going to be able to break it? Okay, so this is a stronger yes. I have to tell you, I don't know what that looks like or how that can be, but let's hold on to that for right now. Because truly without that, they are really going to continually be in this place where it doesn't matter what they do, they're constantly going to get pulled back. And it's a curious thing to me, right? Because they, the Republicans managed to stop everything when they were, Republicans, and yet somehow, and in control. And now, even though they're not in control, they're still managing to stop everything. So that honestly, that has me a little bit confused. I mean, this nonsense that, in the rest of the world, a majority is 50 plus 1. And in your world, it's like got to be 60. It's crazy. Okay. So very definitely, there are some difficult and troubled times ahead. I can't sugarcoat this for you. A lot of it is going to depend on doing the work, getting the momentum going again. But there's definitely going to be some Republican losses. And I'm not sure where that's coming from. I don't know if in some ways Trump himself is going to be sidelined, whether there may be a couple of Republicans who end up having to leave office and that somehow changes the dynamics. But there is, and let's not forget, I keep seeing that Mitch McConnell's not going to be there over the long term. And again, we wish no harm to him, but just energetically, that's what it looks like. But so, listen, this is it. The only way I can kind of give you the long and short of this reading is this. There is a lot of work to be done in order for the Democrats to hold the House and the Senate, and in fact, particularly in the Senate, increase those numbers. And, it was interesting because I believe Manson is from West Virginia. And I mean, his own constituents were protesting him and saying, this is ridiculous. You can't be doing this. Now, apparently he did decide to change his vote at the last minute. But, what all of his delaying did was just allow, I think, the Republicans in their own way to become more and more entrenched. And it sort of created a bit of division within the party itself. And so he wasn't doing anybody any favors except, I'm sorry, maybe the Republicans or maybe the Koch brothers. There's a lot of work to be done to get this thing righted. And, once again, it falls sort of to the people of the United States, right? It's your country. The legacy of this country, of your country, in many ways stands in the balance right now. And the changes that need to take place after a lot of soul searching and worry and concern definitely have the potential to change and to make things better and stronger. Ultimately ending, with being in a good place, a solid place, being in a powerful place. And a new beginning coming, a new way of looking at things, a new way of communicating things, a new way of talking about politics. Okay? Look deep. Look deep into yourselves and figure out what you can do to sort of move things along in a way that get you the results that you're looking for. So, speaking of which, it might be later today or it might be tomorrow, but on the Soulprint Insights channel, I'm going to be doing a video about vows and how we need to break vows sometimes, particularly vows from past lives, okay? So, for example, if you took a vow, I mean, not every vow you make, ends up impacting every life you have thereafter. But vows that are made with a great deal of intensity of emotion really can end up having some holding power. So, people, for example, who in previous lifetimes were part of religious orders and would have taken a vow of I'm not going to say a vow of poverty, right? That vow where you do not accumulate material wealth, all right? So you roll on into this life or another life, and you find that you just can't somehow get yourself in a place where you have sort of ongoing, abundance. And listen, the thing is that I've always said abundance, by my definition, is having enough. Enough is abundance. Okay, when you can cover what you need to cover, and when you have some to hold and some to share, and a little bit to spare, that's abundance. But you can't quite achieve that. Sometimes it has to do with a vow that was made in the past, a vow of poverty. Maybe you are having a hard time finding love or holding love. Maybe you seek but don't find. Well, anybody want to talk about that till death do us part vow? That is part of a wedding ceremony. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you know what, you need to check your past lives because you need to understand the vow in order to break it. I personally am not of that philosophy. I believe that you can create vows or create a way to break the vows without finding yourself really entrenched in past lives. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that it's very important if there's some information that you need to get about a past life that is really impacting this life, that's one thing. But to sort of go on a fishing expedition to get all kinds of information about past lives, you really do sort of run the risk of getting trapped in the past, frankly, and not being here present. So that's enough of my rambling. My goodness, I've been rambling all through this. So thank you so much for hanging in there, for being with me. I hope you will check out the Insights channel. And I just thank you for your support. It's been amazing. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.